Welcome to this Wayfinders in Session event with Transfer Student Resources. My name is Chris Jodish and I am the program coordinator for Wayfinders. This particular session means a lot to me because I was a transfer student not that long ago, and I know what it's like to be contemplating where you're going to take that next step in your educational career. And so we're really excited that you chose to spend some time with us tonight. We have a distinguished panel of guests that are going to help us put on this presentation, and I'm going to kind of go around and let everybody introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Paul Miller, who is our Associate Director in Transfer Enrollment.
Hello, my name is Paul Miller, Associate Director of Transfer Enrollment Services at the University of Arizona, Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I am a native Tucsonian, a second-generation Wildcat, and have been working with transfer students probably since
my legs are itching so bad. I think they ate me alive.
All right, thank you, Paul. Well, our next panelist is Christy Ball.
Hi, everybody. Christy Ball. I'm the Director of Transfer Credit and Articulation here at the University of Arizona, and also a Wayfinder. And I'm just really happy you're here, so I'll keep it short.
Our next panelist is Elizabeth Santander.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Santander. I'm an academic advisor here at the University of Arizona. I was also a transfer student, and so I know transfer students have lots of questions, so I'm glad you're joining us tonight.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And next we have Mercedes Luna.
Hi, y'all. My name is Mercedes Luna, and I am one of two student support coordinators in the Transfer Student Center. And I'll just echo Christy's sentiments. We're really excited to be here and talk with y'all tonight.
Thank you, Mercedes. And then Mercedes' partner, Daniel Viramontes.
Hello, everyone. Daniel Viramontes. I am the other program coordinator at the Transfer Student Center. I was a transfer student myself, transferred from Pima Community College, and have been working at the Transfer Center for some years now, and I'm really excited to get to talk to some of you all.
All right, thank you, Daniel, and thank you to the rest of the panelists. Tonight, as I had mentioned earlier, we'll be using the chat feature, so if you have questions that arise while the panelists are giving their presentations, please put your questions in the chat, and then after everybody's had a chance to speak, we will go through the questions, and you'll have ample opportunity to ask additional questions, and we'll try to have a nice spirited discussion afterward. I'm going to try something that I've never done before. I put together a little quiz with polls, so I am going to launch this poll, and I believe you all should have the ability to answer questions. Is anybody seeing the polling? Yes, I see some nods and thumbs up. So I'll just read the questions and you can answer them at your leisure. But the first question: in fall of 2020, Arizona had 10,073 new students enroll at the university. What percentage of those enrollees were transfer students? And of course, you have 4 choices there. Our second question: true or false? Fall of 2020 saw the largest number of new transfer students in the history of Arizona. Third question: in fall 2020, what percentage of Arizona new transfer students were 25 plus years of age? That kind of question always interests me because I was was actually 50 years old when I transferred to the U of A. So I would count for 2 of those students. Our fourth question is, what does the acronym AJEC stand for? And then our final question is, true or false? 22 different Arizona community colleges are represented in the fall 2020 enrollment class. I see the answers are flying in. All right, looks like we just need one more. Well, I will just go with the answers now, since the majority of people have voted. And so for question 1, the percentage of enrollees that are transfer student, the answer is C, 27%, which I see the majority of people got correct. So that's a pretty significant number, 2,738 transfer students in the fall of 2020, which is actually a 50% increase from 2011 when there were a little over 1,800 students. So the number of transfer students at the U of A continues to grow every year, which we are very excited about that. True or false? Fall 2020 saw the largest number of new transfer students in the history of U Arizona. That answer is true. Again, that's a number that continues to grow. Question 3, in the fall 2020, what percentage of U Arizona new transfer students were 25 plus years of age? And this one was a one that stumped everybody. The answer is 41%. So it's quite a number. I had no idea that the number was anywhere close to that until I started to do a little research for this quiz. So it's just lets you know that when you transfer to the University of Arizona, that is a wide range of people from all different demographics, age groups. So it's really, there's something for everybody here, and it's pretty exciting to know that. Question 4, what does the acronym AJEC stand for? Just about everybody got this one correct. It is the Arizona General Education Curriculum, which Christy will talk a little bit more about that later. And then our final question, true or false? 22 different Arizona community colleges are represented in the fall 2020 enrollment class. That question is also true. Again, that was somewhat surprising to me. So I really appreciated putting this quiz together because I learned something. In the people that signed up for our event today, we had 8 different community colleges represented in Arizona, plus 3 other students from out of state. So it was quite interesting to see who was interested in this event. And so hopefully that kind of gives you just a little taste of things that are going on here at the University of Arizona. I'm going to kick things over to Paul, let him kind of get this started and talking about enrollment and admissions.
Okay, I think when we think about transfer, people usually think it's a thing, but actually, and it is a thing, but it's actually more of a process. And the transfer process has a couple of components. There's what I call the exploration phase. There's the admissions phase. There's the cost and aid analysis, which can be looped into the admissions phase. And of course, there's the onboarding phase, so orientation. As far as the exploration phase, usually in that phase, students I usually suggest that you look at an institution to see if they have your major, which is like pretty important. and if it's the major you want to major in. Also, there's this whole thing about fit. Are you the right fit for the institution? And is the institution fit a right fit for you? There's ways to do that, especially in our current climate of COVID. We offer everything from virtual visits through the Office of Admissions, where you don't have to set foot on campus. It's all done virtually. There's Transfer Wildcat webinars, so that you can hear our admission speech, and we talk about the University of Arizona, what it offers, all of that stuff. There's also college information sessions, which are all done virtually. So the colleges, the ones that want to participate, actually talk to you about their majors, what you can do with their majors, all that stuff in an information session. So you can do that all in what's called the exploration phase. As far as admissions, yeah, if you're interested in an institution, they have your major, you probably want to start the application phase as early as possible. It usually takes us about 2 to 4 weeks to get an admissions decision out to you. So when you get online or go online, look at the deadlines, because like all universities in higher ed, there are deadlines, and there are deadlines you need to meet. So I usually tell you guys to at least be 4 weeks out in front of any deadline, because you're going to need to turn in that application fee, your official transcripts from any and all colleges or universities you've attended, and also a high school transcript or GED if you're under the age of 22. Also, a couple of semesters ago, the Office of Financial Aid does this financial aid disbursement hold thing, which means that you have to meet certain criteria, which is actually in our admissions application this year, in order for them to release your federal financial aid. So in some cases, I usually tell students to go ahead and submit their high school transcript or GED, unless they have an associate's degree or a completed AJAC and stuff like that. So that's one thing to take note in your application process about that federal financial aid thing that you have to meet these days. And of course, you want to know how you can finance this whole thing called the University of Arizona, correct? Right? And the way to do that is, at least here at the University of Arizona, there is a website, which I think Chris posted in the chat, which leads you to our transfer cost and aid website. On that website, you can do the net price calculator. So you kind of like enter your information, and it spits out what you may qualify for at the University of Arizona. So it gives you a what if package and how you will look, and whether you'll be able to, of course, finance that. Also, there's other things beside transfer merit aid, such as the Phi Theta Kappa transfer tuition award. There's the UA Bridge Award, but we also have Scholarship Universe. So there are multiple ways beside federal financial aid for you to finance your education at the University of Arizona. And with that, I think it's Christy.
Okay, great. Thanks, Paul. Hi, everybody. I can't see you all, but I totally get it. I just want to say hello and thanks again for being here. And really where my office picks up relates to the work that Paul was just discussing. My office runs your transfer credit. So when you apply to the University of Arizona, you need to submit official transcripts from all of the colleges and universities you've attended, and they go to the registrar's office or admissions, and admissions gives them to the registrar's office. And the registrar puts it in the system, and then my office is the one that articulates it or gets it on your record and applies the correct credit to your record and makes it kind of work in your advisement report. So that's in a nutshell what my office does. But I thought what might be helpful for you, because I know I have different kinds of students in the room, I wanted to show you a couple tools that you can access to get more familiar with how your credit will transfer to the university. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and show you some stuff. Okay. Okay, so you just have to let me share, Chris. No worries. All good. All right, cool. Here we go. So the first place I want to take you is to my office homepage. So it's transfercredit.arizona.edu, and we'll put this in the chat for you. This website is going to be helpful, especially for those of you who are coming from out of state. How are your credits going to transfer? So we have a link directly right to what we call our transfer credit guide. And when you click here, you're first going to get like the alphabet, and you want to look for your institution. One thing I want to note is that occasionally students don't find their institution here. And then they think, oh no, they don't even take my credit. Well, that is not true. And you would not believe how many institutions there are. I mean, globally, because my office does credit globally. There are so many that we could work day and night for the next, I don't know, 100 years and probably still not have built every catalog that exists. So if in the event that you go and you're looking for your credit, or your school, excuse me, and you don't see it, do not be worried. All you need to do if you want to find out ahead of time how your credit will transfer is that you can email my office your unofficial transcripts to this email address you'll see on your screen, and we'll do an evaluation for you. Now, the other thing I want to point out is if you go to one school here, this is a perfect example. It's only showing 2 classes. Does that mean we only take 2 classes from that school? No. It just means that we had one student at one time do an evaluation with 2 classes, and so we did that for them and we added it to our guide. We probably don't have a ton of students coming from DeUville College, so that's why. But if you look at any other kind of college that's, you know, very a lot more students, I guess, come from there, you're going to see a lot more courses here. Okay, so I want you to know that we have this guide for you to use. In addition, there may be some students coming from out of state that need to know if a course is equivalent for sure to an exact course at the University of Arizona. And you can do a credit evaluation here. So you can submit an actual form that says, hey, I took this chemistry class and I need to know if it's the same as Chem 1 at the University of Arizona. And the transfer credit guide doesn't say. So you can submit your information with your syllabus and see if it's equivalent or not. Because what we do is we take that information and then we route it to the chemistry department, and their faculty review it to see if it's equivalent or not. You don't have to do this for every course. It's really just for courses that need to meet a specific requirement like chemistry or physics, physiobiology, certain courses. It's not for gen ed, things like that. And a lot of it's already been evaluated. So I don't want to be totally boring about this, but I do think it's important that you know you have these tools. And the other thing I wanted to mention is for those of you who are in-state students, every course has been evaluated already. So there's no kind of guesswork with that. And I'll just go to it, even though I'm already here. If we go to aztransfer.com and we go to tools, you can see a course equivalency guide. This is for any course that you've taken, you can see how it transfers. Okay, so I just did English. I didn't even put in the number. I just wanted to see all the English classes from Central Arizona College, how they transfer to the university. And then that was one way to see, oh, cool, English 101 and 102 that I took, they're good to go for English 101 and 102 at U of A. I know there's something in the chat, so I don't know if anyone has questions, but let me know. Let's see, Chris mentioned something called the AJEC, and it was on the little fun quiz. AJECs are awesome. What they are is a block of courses that you could do at an Arizona community college and then transfer it to the University of Arizona, and then your gen eds are done. But I think there's a common misconception that your AJEC must be done before you transfer to the University of Arizona. That is not the case. It's not necessarily a requirement, but it's not a bad thing either. So just wanted to clear that up. And then often students, when you are applying to the University of Arizona, you are in 1 or 2 courses that are going to complete your AJEC. So then when you actually start at the University of Arizona, you need a follow-up official transcript that has that AJEC certified on there. And that really goes for anybody. Is like once you get admitted to the university and then you begin courses, we need a follow-up official transcript to get all those last courses that you were enrolled in when you were applying. You'll meet with your advisor and they'll say, well, I don't see your AJEC, or I don't see such and such course. And you're like, I for sure took that. And it's because it's on that last semester that you were in when you were applying, and we don't have that transcript. So that's just like piece of advice. I'm sure Elizabeth is like, yes, please do that. And that's really all I had to share about transfer credit. But I guess the final note I'll say is please reach out if you have questions. My office is really a partnership with the advising community, because we do transferability, and then the advising community talks about applicability. So how are your credits going to meet your degree requirements, which is really what you want to know. Like, yes, you want it to transfer and you need to know how it transfers, and that's what we do. And then you want to know what requirement does that meet and when am I going to graduate. So we're a team here and we all work together. And with that, I'll pass it to Elizabeth. And I will stop sharing.
Thanks, Christy. So I'm going to talk about what advisors can do for you at the University of Arizona.
What's your friend's name?
Sorry. Pardon me?
From U of A?
So
Just check his
an
Elizabeth.
academic
He's
advisor.
an advisor or something like that.
Oh, I'm just going to ask if you are a participant, if you can mute your mic. Awesome. That helps so much. Thanks. So as an academic advisor, we are here to help you in so many different ways. As a prospective student, we might not be able to give you a lot of the answers you're looking for, but from orientation day forward, we're going to be a huge resource for you. A lot of the prospective transfer students that I meet with have admissions questions, orientation questions, and articulation questions, which are going to be best answered by the new student enrollment team, by transfer admissions, or by Christy Ball's office, who just spoke. But there are many cases where it is appropriate for you to reach out to an advisor while you're still in the application phase, or even before, when you're just searching around to see if the U of A is the right fit for you. And so good scenarios for you to reach out to an advisor for before you've applied or while you're applying is if you want to talk about the curriculum, if you want to talk about the major, what does it offer, what kinds of careers do our students go into, do we have study abroad programs, what kinds of awards have our departments won, anything like that. Because what we want to make sure is that our major is the right fit for you. Not only are you the right fit for the U of A, but do we meet your needs? And so if you have those specific kinds of questions about the curriculum, about the department, about opportunities we can provide for you, please reach out to an advisor beforehand. If you have questions about where is my application in the process of being, am I admitted or not, will this class actually transfer, those are going to be best handled by other departments that you've heard from already today. Once you're actually admitted, though, your advisor is going to be a fantastic resource for you. So yes, our main goal is going to be to make sure that academically you're on track. You're taking the right kinds of classes. You're going to be able to meet your graduation goal that you have in mind. We recommend you meet with your advisor at least once a semester. That way you can do a full degree plan. You can make sure that you're taking the right classes the next semester, and we can iron out any little wrinkles that might pop up along the way so that there's just no surprises for you. Beyond academic advising though, talk to your advisor about literally everything. Talk to your advisor about your career goals, about study abroad plans, about internships you're interested in, about cool things you heard in class that you want to talk about more, because maybe we'll be able to have book recommendations for you. Anything like that, run by your advisor. I can't promise your advisor will have the answer, but more often than not, they will know who to direct you to. And so use your advisor as a sounding board for everything. I was a transfer student, and I know it took me a while to settle in before I was comfortable reaching out to ask questions. And the hard thing about that is for many transfer students, you will not be at the institution for 4 years because you've already completed some of your work already. And so by the time I had gotten the confidence to reach out to an advisor, I was already approaching my senior year. And I wish I had gotten the confidence to reach out beforehand, because had I done that, I may have been able to have gotten plugged into some other opportunities on campus with my major, in the community earlier than I had before just my last year. So be brave, talk to your advisor about everything, ask questions, always ask questions. You can never ask too many questions. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for advising. So I'm gonna pass it over to Mercedes and Daniel.
Hello, everyone. Share my screen with you all. We have a short presentation, and we'll try to kind of go through it quickly to not take too much time. But let's say you already transferred, you went through the admissions process, all your credits are in place, and you've talked to your advisor, but you get to the U of A and you think to yourself, I don't really know anyone, not familiar with the U of A. That's where the Transfer Center steps in. And we call this presentation Thriving with the TSC because the Transfer Student Center is part of a larger kind of umbrella of services for students, a lot of underrepresented students, and the center is called Thrive Center. But we'll be specifically talking about the Transfer Student Center today.
So a little bit about what we do. We just want to share about our mission. So one of our main missions is to cultivate an inclusive environment for students who have transferred to the University of Arizona and guide transfer students as they gain academic and life skills through connections to resources and community. And our hope is to be with you from when you begin at the University of Arizona to when you are walking across that stage. So some of our work includes providing connections to academic, social, and professional resources. We collaborate across campus and the Tucson community to serve students, and we definitely advocate for the transfer student experience. We do understand that y'all come from a plethora of experiences, life experiences, so we want to make sure to advocate for you on campus.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the neat things about the Transfer Student Center is that we have an actual center, a space on campus that you can visit. Hopefully once we go back to normal business and we're back in person, we have a center located on the 4th floor of the Student Union, room 402. And our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6, and Fridays, 9 to 5. And we're currently still serving students online through multiple different channels, which we'll talk a little bit about, but we're online during those hours, so you can reach us for sure during those hours.
So that's us again, just with a little bit of a fancier picture. But something else that we offer is, as Daniel said, you're trying to get acclimated, maybe trying to get started and find resources or build community. So Daniel and I are here for you if you'd like to have a little bit more one-on-one conversations with professional staff. So this could be something as simple as, connecting you to a resource, or if you have questions about resumes or anything in between, really. We definitely like to direct you and make you aware of other campus resources as well.
Yeah, I think kind of speaking from experience as a transfer student, one of the things that can be a little overwhelming is how big the university is, and it's not centralized the way a lot of community colleges are. So everything's kind of spread out all over campus. So it can be very overwhelming, and we can help you navigate the institution. But another cool thing is we have a group of transfer student assistants who are student workers. A lot of them are transfer students as well, have been through the process, and they're usually there to help their peers, you all, kind of through the process if you have questions or aren't sure where to go for something. And they're usually online on some of our different channels as well.
So a few reasons just why to reach out or visit us. We can be your home base on campus. We do understand that, quite a few transfer students might be commuters and not live on campus. So with that comes a place for you to sort of unwind or study. And we also have a fridge and a microwave if you want to use that and leave your lunch there for the day. As we said before, we're there to answer your questions. And we're also a really great place to find community. So in addition to the fridge and the microwave, we also have printing accommodations, coffee and water, lockers for you to rent, and then some laptops for you to use in the center. And then just a direct connection to Daniel and I again, if you need a little bit more assistance.
Yeah, and if you're interested in getting involved, we have, there's a lot of clubs at the U of A, but we have a few clubs that are kind of housed out of the Transfer Center. We have Tau Sigma, which is a nationally recognized honor society for transfer students that you get invited to after your first semester if you finish with a 3.5 or higher. Transfer Cats in Action, which is focused on serving the Tucson community, and the Transfer Student Advisory Board. Unfortunately, with COVID and everything being online, there hasn't been as much activity in the clubs, but we're hoping that once we're back in person, they'll be very active. And if you are interested in living on campus, there's also the transfer themed community that we work with, which is a community in the dorms with other transfer students. A lot of students who apply for it, express wanting to be with other students who have kind of already have a couple years of college experience under their belt. So that definitely is an option if you're looking to live on campus.
So as we said, we are online this semester, and we've actually had a lot of fun activity with Discord. So if you do feel like connecting, you can, take a picture or use the QR code there in the corner. But it's really a place for a lot of transfer students to talk. There have been conversations, recipes, animals, food, how do I get a hold of so-and-so? So there's been a lot of different activity on there. So if you're just looking, especially for an outlet to build some community, we definitely recommend joining our Discord server.
Yeah, definitely. And throughout the year, we'll do a lot of academic and social programming that's kind of tailored for transfer students. Our transfer student assistants often plan these. So, there are activities that are by transfer students for transfer students. So it's not just me and Mercedes, thinking of what we like to do, but really oftentimes it's students. So good combination of social and academic.
So here is some of our contact information in addition to the Discord server. So, you can feel free to email us or reach out on any of our social media platforms.
Yeah, and I'll leave this up here for just a few more seconds for if you want to jot it down. But I saw a question in the chat about work study, and I saw Paul and Chris answered it, but I just kind of wanted to follow up with saying that Thrive in general definitely accepts students, or is happy to hire students with work study. A few of the students in our office are, so it's definitely a plus if you have work study, but it's not a requirement. And yeah, if you'd like to set up a one-on-one with Mercedes or or myself, you can definitely go to our website, and there's a link under Connect with Us for scheduling a one-on-one. So yeah, that is everything we had. Not sure how you'd like to proceed, Chris.
Well, I just wanted to say, in terms of the Transfer Student Center, it's one of the more happening places on campus. Like for transfer students, you see people coming in and out at all times. There really is a sense of community there. It's one of the things I miss about the COVID situation is that just popping my head in there and seeing the workers and seeing Mercedes and Daniel and just everyone in general. So I highly recommend, if you're on campus, check out the Transfer Student Center. And really, not only the Transfer Student Center, but that whole idea of becoming part of a community. It's so important. And sometimes it can be difficult as a transfer student. I can speak for myself that at first I was almost completely concentrating on my academics, and I didn't really attend to the social aspect of being a student. And once I started to reach out a little bit and become involved with more activities and working on campus and just doing all all the things that you would have the opportunity to take part in, it enhances your experience. And so I fully recommend that. And so I see that some of you have been throwing questions in the chat already. I see one right now that says, how do I qualify for U of A Bridge? So that might be a Paul question. I'm not sure.
It used to be when I used to do recruitment. I've been away from that recruitment aspect for a little bit, but what community college are you transferring from? Whoever had that question.
And feel free to, okay, Pima.
Pima. At Pima Community College, we have transfer counselors who work out of the Office of Admissions. Who are actually, well, pre-COVID, they were actually on your campuses working. What I would do is probably reach out to one of your counseling or advising staff and ask them to connect you with those transfer counselors. It used to be that you just simply filled out a form. It's through our CRM, and you just simply submit it. And they, start working with you from day one. But of course, like I said, I've been away from that for a little bit. I know it's still a form. I know probably you need to talk to our transfer admissions counselors, and they can lead you through that process.
And Christy has provided a link to how to apply transfer U of A Bridge.
It does say though, like to connect with the recruiter, because it does not giving very specific information. So it gives a link to how to connect about it.
So the specific question about Paradise Valley Community College, do we have any information on that? I see Christy's looking.
Yes. UA Bridge is at all community colleges in the state of Arizona. So yes, that would cover Paradise Valley, Dene, all the rest of them.
All right. Thank you, Paul and Christy, for that. Do we have any other questions?
Hi, I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm in the middle of the legal verification process in the Next Step Center so that I can schedule my advising appointment. I kind of read the requirements wrong, and I'm not in Tucson. And one of the acceptable documents or whatever is in Tucson. I won't be able to get there until Sunday, the 11th. And I was just wondering if that's like too late for you guys to, or for my stuff to get reviewed and accepted before I'm able to make the appointment. So I don't know, I was just wondering if that's too late.
When is your, or did you sign up for orientation?
No, I was told I have to finish the legal verification process before I'm able to schedule my advising appointment. And I think the STU 210 class that I'm in is the Tuesday class. So I think I have until the 20th, but I just don't know if that stuff has to get like reviewed and like accepted before I can make the appointment, or if I just have to turn it in and then I can make the appointment.
Have you already been admitted?
Yes, to the U of A, yeah, I've been accepted.
Okay. And what is it asking you in next steps?
For the legal verification process where I have to submit either a photocopy of my driver's license, my passport, and then 2 other ones that could be like a employee ID or my school ID. I have all those. I thought that I would be able to use my passport or my ID for the second verification or for the second form 2, but primary, and the secondary can't be like the same as the primary, I guess. So I don't have what I need until I can get back to Tucson on Sunday.
Okay, email me.
Okay.
You're an STU210, right?
Yeah.
So you know my email address. Email me so that I can do some research and take care of this. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, so just email me all the situation and I'll take it from there.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, we have a few questions coming in here. Where can I find information on the credit cost for international students? Any of the panelists want to jump on this one?
So as far as credit costs, I'm just a little confused. It's the question is just the cost of like how many units they'd be taking. Is that correct on it? Like the cost of attendance?
Okay, it looks like Christy provided a link to a tuition calculator. And I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I don't believe University of Arizona charges per unit. It's like a tuition. Am I correct here, Christy?
No, I mean, we do have, it is charged per unit, but at certain thresholds, it could be the same, depending if you're in state or out of state. But the calculator I just put, right, yeah, thank you, Paul. The calculator I put, I'm noticing it's differentiating between in-state and out-of-state and not necessarily international. So I'm going to look at what Paul put. Thank you. There you go. Paul's link is better. Perfect. There you go. Because with international, you know, there's visa issues and full-time status is a thing. So there you go. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
And something else that might be a really good resource for you, excuse me, is also finding your international admissions recruiter. There are a few assigned per country, and I just pasted that link in there as well if you're looking for a little bit more of a contact to speak to specifically.
I see another question was, how do I get into Phi Theta Kappa? Does anybody have a?
That would really depend on the community college. So it would be finding who is the advisor to the chapter at your community college, and then reaching out to them. But Phi Theta Kappa is definitely a great idea if you are interested in joining, because there is a great scholarship opportunity once you transfer to U of A. If you've been in Phi Theta Kappa for, I don't remember the exact time, but I think it's 2 semesters if I remember correctly.
To qualify for the PTK or Phi Theta Kappa award, you have to be in PTK for a year before you transfer, so 2 semesters. It is GPA driven, so I think it sits at a 3.5. I'm not correct, to actually be reviewed as PTK.
Sorry, I'm losing my screen here, so.
I think somebody did ask, how long does it usually take to get admitted?
There we go.
Okay, as far as admissions, once you submit your application fee, and any appropriate documents that the Office of Admissions needs, it's usually about 2 to 4 weeks before you have your decision in hand.
Says I was accepted for fall 2020, but did community college, so I reapplied. Is this a question? I'm sorry, that's Stephanie. And Stephanie, feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
And Stephanie, that seems right, unless you had your admissions deferred somehow. If you don't attend during the semester that you were accepted, typically we do need you to reapply. So that most likely seems like the right fit for you.
Okay, thank you. Just making sure did I miss any other questions? This question goes to Anna. How do I go about getting into PTK? I was looking up the link at Pima just now, so I'm gonna post that, which should give you information about Phi Theta Kappa at Pima. And as was mentioned before, for students at other colleges, you'll have to check the local chapter at your college to find out more information about Phi Theta Kappa.
Yeah, and I think it could be helpful to kind of explain a little bit of what Phi Theta Kappa is for some of the other students who might not be too familiar. Because I remember when I was a transfer student, I had no idea if I would have heard the name. I would have just kind of nodded and not known. But Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society two-year institution, so at community colleges. So it's kind of run at the community college. It's similar to what I was mentioning earlier of Tau Sigma, but Tau Sigma is at four-year institutions for transfer students. So Phi Theta Kappa is at the community college, and Tau Sigma is at the U of A, or four-year institutions.
And I believe it was mentioned before, but U of A has a excellent scholarship opportunities for Phi Theta Kappa students. So it is definitely something to explore. Any other questions? I had a kind of a final question that I was going to pose to the panelists if we don't have any other questions from our students. Then I'll throw this out there and everybody can give their answer, but what is the best advice you can give to a prospective transfer student? And I know that's a pretty broad question, but if you had to like crystallize it into one small kernel of information, what would you tell our transfer students? And we'll start with Paul.
One, start your admissions process early so that you are in line with any kind of transfer merit aid that we offer at the University of Arizona. And be patient and persistent.
That's great. I'll hand it over to Christy next.
I'll keep it short, but I think two things would be just don't forget to send that official transcript after all your grades post from that semester that you're in while you're applying, so we have all your credit. And then connect with your academic advisor. I mean, 100%, they are your people through the whole thing. So meet with your advisor.
I'll go next. I would say ask questions. Ask questions. Just because you've already gone to a college before and you have experience with what it's like to be a college student does not mean you should have all of the answers moving forward, and it does not mean you should have all of the answers or any answers about the U of A. So ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You have so many people on campus, so many departments who are here purely to help answer questions for you. So help us, utilize us, reach out to us. We are here for you. The other piece of advice, which I couldn't figure out how to squeeze it into that one, so I'm breaking the rules and giving you 2 points, is don't be discouraged by the transition process. It might be a little bit wonky. Sometimes, for example, students have to send their AJAC a couple times because it just doesn't get here the right way, or you thought a class was supposed to count for something and your advisor reviewed it and said it didn't. That kind of stuff is going to happen, but it's easy to overcome and it's easy to make a plan to keep moving forward through it. So just don't be discouraged if there's a little hiccup in the beginning. You've got people to help you with this, to help you figure it out. So just don't be discouraged, be bold and ask the questions, and know that people are here to help you.
Thank you, Liz. Mercedes.
Oh, yeah. I guess I would say, for y'all is just to know that you're not alone in this process and that your life experiences, your school experiences are valid, and they are going to give you a lot more leeway. And when you start here at the U of A, I think it gives you such a beautiful, unique perspective, and definitely utilize that as you navigate your courses, as you meet with so many different people on campus. Your experiences are very valid, and you can definitely use those to your advantage.
Excellent.
And
Daniel?
I would say get involved. Chris was mentioning, and I was just thinking, that's exact same way I think about it. Like, the difference it makes getting involved is huge. My first semester at the U of A, I would just focus on classes and go home. And my second semester, I started getting involved, and it just made a huge difference. It opened up a lot of doors and different opportunities, and it really, really makes you get more out of your time here. So get involved. And the Transfer Center is one way, but it is definitely not the only way. There are clubs and programs and centers for just about anything.
Thank you, Daniel. I think from my perspective as a transfer student, I found that everybody at the university that I reached out to was more than willing to help me and to try to guide me to the direction that I was looking for. And so it's been mentioned before, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out. Embrace that. Make connections with your instructors and your advisors, and just people here really truly do want to help. I've been part of different colleges and universities before, and I've never experienced a place quite like the University of Arizona where people truly do want to see you succeed. And you're going to succeed no matter what your choices are. We hope that, your choices land you here at the University of Arizona, but I'm just thankful that you took the time out to join us tonight. And if there are any final last minute questions anyone has, feel free to. There we go, we got one. What if you don't qualify for financial aid, would you still qualify for U of A Bridge program? And that's not a question that I have the answer for, but.
It is considered transfer merit aid. So it is based on how you performed at your community college. So as far as not qualifying for federal financial aid, yes, you would still be reviewed for the UA Bridge Award.
So a while ago, I was going through the scholarships and financial aid website, and I found a really good page that lists all the scholarships that the U of A offers. These are not all for transfer students, so keep that in mind. That is very important, but it does show the transfer scholarships at the very bottom. I can post that in the chat, and it kind of has a breakdown of what the requirements are and what that aid is. But like I said, keep in mind, you're still going to have to go through a process and make sure that you qualify for it.
Thank you, Daniel. And I provided my the Wayfinders email address just in case you have any questions that pop up after our session tonight and throughout the year. Feel free to send me an email. Doesn't matter what the question is. I may not know the answer. I probably won't know the answer, but I work with amazing people who do know the answers, and so I'll make sure that I can get you in touch with whomever you need to talk to answer that question. And with that, I just, again, thank everybody for coming tonight. I thank the panelists for taking part in this, and hope to see everybody on campus soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
And I'll stick around a little bit longer in case anybody stays on.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
this is Francisco. I was just wanted to speak up a little bit about, there was another student, I believe, that was asking a question. I believe it's Peck K. He or she is the one that requested the question about qualifying for UA Bridge, even if you didn't qualify for financial aid. So if you guys could repeat the answer so that person can hear the answer once more, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
I think someone said, I think it was Paul that mentioned that it's a merit award. So if they don't qualify for it, they might still be eligible for the bridge, if I understood correctly.
And that is correct.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully Peg did listen to it. So, because we were chatting privately and I got the message myself and then I posted to everyone. So I just wanted to make sure that person heard the answer.
Yeah, Peck is also in my STU 210 class.
Okay.
So if she didn't get it, I'm sure she'll ask.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure. For me, it's been a while, right? So I just want to make sure that they get the answer.
That's really sweet of you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you, Francisco.
You're welcome. Thanks for all the information. Have a great night.
Thanks, you
You're
too.
welcome. You have a great night as well. Like Peck was still with us. So hopefully you got that information. Otherwise, I'm going to conclude this meeting. Again, thank everybody for joining us tonight and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.